Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Our group will be presenting the case study on Radicare Sdn Bhd. Our group consists of 5 members, which is me, myself, Ishak bin Harun, my partner presenter today, Nur Sheila binti Abdullah Rahili, Aceh Dato' Najihan binti Muhammad Nasution, Fazira Idayah binti Abdullah, and lastly, Nur Izzian Syafiqah binti Muhammad Syafuddin. To begin with, in this case study that we conduct, we are focusing on the clinical waste management, particularly by Radicare Sdn Bhd. So what is clinical waste? Clinical waste is defined as a waste that result from the hospital, medical lab, outer spice, mortuaries, and other associated establishment that has the potential to injure patient or create infection or offense. Also, it is any waste produced during medical operation, such as diagnosis, monitoring, immunization, or treatment of human or animal. So in which it contains viruses and bacteria that have the potential to cause disease and are created by hospitals, clinics, doctor's office, and other sort of healthcare facilities. So the next one is goal of clinical waste. Clinical waste management techniques span the whole waste management process from trash identification through disposal in an incinerator. So the major goal of waste management are to reduce trash volume and danger. Another goal of waste management is to reuse waste by providing secondary raw materials and to use the trash as energy resource. So the establishment of Radicare, Radicare Sdn Bhd is a company that specializes in offering non-clinical support service to Malaysia healthcare industry. And Radicare have established an excellent reputation in offering a high quality of hospital support service that enable them to collaborate with other reputable medical organizations in Malaysia. So the headquarters is located at Bukit Damansara, Kuala Lumpur, and Radicare is able to sustain 28 years of excellent experience in the industry and has success extending their services and specialized to various hospital and medical institutions throughout the country and region. So next is the vision, where they want to be the top choice of facility management company in the healthcare sector that provide high quality support services which contribute to environmental sustainability. Other than that is their mission is to always be active in contributing support services to the facilities organization management in the healthcare industry through committed in providing reliable and quality services and responsive to the customer needs and demand. Radicare have many subsidiaries company and services offer, such as the first one is ReadyBeam. It offers critical cost-effective solution and dependability in the operation and maintenance of high-tech hospital equipment. It strengthens team in its excellent technology competence and ties with famous worldwide healthcare organization. The second one is ReadyFam. It's offering cost-effective facility management solution and reliability in the operation and maintenance of public and private building and facility. ReadyFam play an important role through its customer-centered services and program to meet the life cycle needs of various type of facility. The next one is Medalot. Medalot Sdn Bhd is specialist lining processing and rental firm. So it offers end-to-end lining and laundry service to assist its customer in making the best use of their linen. So management of linen from hospital to laundry facility supported by severe hygiene protocol and rules. So the next one is clean waste. So clean waste cutting edge central laundry system offer integrated washing procedure that satisfy New Zealand and Australia requirements. So Medallion service are clean waste service are benchmarked to the service standards set by prominent Asian Pacific country, and users are certain that the level of service supply surpass their expectation. So the next one is Ready Flat, and it is the last one. So Ready Flat, Sdn Bhd is happy to be a vital part of the Radicare group, which was formed in response to the need for dependability in the maintenance of significant number of motor vehicles. Ready Fleet provide logistical support to other subsidiaries for clinical garbage collection and clean trolley delivery, as well as filthy lining pickup and clean delivery.
I will explain for the section 3, which is the challenges of Radicare in clinical waste disposal. The first one is the quantity of clinical waste increase. According to Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council (MHTC), Malaysia received 921,000 foreigners patients in 2016. Therefore, the increasing number of patients in Malaysia is one of the reasons the quantity of clinical waste increased before the pandemic. However, Radicare received a serious impact during the COVID-19 pandemic, where the clinical waste was increased 18.1%, that was contributed by personal protective equipment, disposal gloves, face masks, and COVID-19 test kit at the hospital. The second one is searching for sustainable and long-term waste treatment method. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, the best selection of disposal treatment of clinical waste must have low risk of environmental pollution and minimal health risk towards humans and animals. The incineration method has become the major technique used worldwide to dispose of solid waste such as biomedical waste, explosive material, food waste, and paper. In addition, even though this method is the most effective to dispose the clinical waste, the operating cost is expensive. Thus, this incineration method is not suitable for a long-term practice in Malaysia, which requires Radicare Sdn Bhd to find another suitable method to dispose of all the clinical waste, as the company is the most efficient company that supports the public and private healthcare industry. Lastly, the lack of the facilities and staff to manage clinical waste. During the pandemic, the demand for services supported in the healthcare industry. This gives Radicare Sdn Bhd a negative impact on their management, which means they need to face the lack of facilities and staff to manage the clinical waste. This challenge can be supported by the news in Sina Harian in 2021, which says there is a lot of clinical waste at the quarantine center in UiTM Chandering that has been rotten and warming. According to the news, all these issues arise because Radicare Sdn Bhd is having management issues to cover all the extra quarantine centers because of an increased COVID-19 patient during that time. For section 4, the effectiveness of the Radicare clinical waste disposal. The first effectiveness is the healthcare industry, human health, and environment. Radicare Sdn Bhd has been implying adequate practices in the clinical waste disposal, which are effective in protecting the healthcare industry and human health. Radicare Sdn Bhd has performed many methods to treat clinical waste for the inactivation of possibly harmful microorganisms, so that the waste no longer poses a risk to human health and safety. Also, since then, there are quite an increase of the face mask waste, where there are a group of people that simply throw the face mask in any place other than the dustbin. So, with the practices of the clinical waste disposal by Radicare Sdn Bhd, where there are specific dustbins provided to throw any medical waste, including the face mask, they managed to control the pollution, which contribute to the environment safety. For the second one is the economy. Waste disposal would not only conserve natural resources, biodiversity, and human life, but it will also have a beneficial economic impact, since more employment will be generated to run an effective waste management system. When untreated trash is exposed to the air, it creates environmental problems as well as having an impact on infrastructure. Waste management is becoming increasingly vital not just for environmental preservation but also as a rising business for an economy. Recycling the resources that businesses create can help them save money. This would help them save money on garbage disposal. Furthermore, knowing what kind of garbage the organization generates will make it simpler for them to discover waste disposal services that meet their needs and save transportation expenses. Lastly, is Radicare reputation. The procedures itself have truly proven how efficient and effective is the management of Radicare Sdn Bhd, which elevated and improved the image and reputation of their company that is able to convince the healthcare industry, especially in always looking forward to work with Radicare for the clinical waste management at their place. In 2017, Radicare Sdn Bhd received A+ ratings from Malaysian Rating Corporation Berhad (MARC). The rating have a stable outlook, which reflects the credit quality of the receivables support. The notes a security covers of 1.20 times of amount issued under the CPMTN facility and growing preference for healthcare support services from contractual hospital and private health organizations. For the solution and recommendation, the first one is recycle reuse. In Malaysia, alternative environmentally sound methods of handling healthcare waste include recycling and resource recovery. Due to the high plastic component of the medical waste stream and the significant amount of recyclable materials present, clinical waste streams are both reusable and recyclable. The recycling reuse program not only lowers the amount of clinical waste produced, but also saves on disposal and new equipment costs. Reducing the quantity of clinical waste will decrease the amount of waste that has to be burned, lowering the amount of dioxin and fuel emissions that pose a danger to the public's health. For the recycling use program of clinical waste to be successfully implemented, a reliable and affordable treatment technology to disinfect and sterilize clinical waste should be devised. In order to decrease the amount of clinical waste, a clear plan should be devised to identify the trash that must be managed as infectious. The second one is landfilling. The less harmful to the environment is infectious clinical waste that has been burned since it destroys the bacteria and microorganisms. The soil can also be covered by fly ash. However, if not used and maintained correctly, the disposal approach might lead to environmental contamination and health danger to people. The third one is undeveloped and developed countries. Environmental and socio-economic issues such as population density and overcrowding frequently affect developing nations. These issues increase waste generation and thus the possibility of public exposure to healthcare waste. Despite this, the number of healthcare institutions such as labs, clinics and hospitals is growing in developing nations. Healthcare waste has increased as a result of the expansion of the healthcare infrastructure, yet workers in most healthcare facilities lack the knowledge and experience required to handle healthcare waste in a responsible manner. Similar issues with resources, finance, and storage for adequate systems are present. Lastly is microwaving. Electromagnetic waves having frequencies in the range of radio and infrared waves are microwaves. The healthcare waste must be moist in order for the microwaving be employed as a procedure. In utilizing microwaves, certain treatment procedures heat water to create steam that is subsequently applied to the clinical waste stream. The clinical waste is heated by microwaving from the interior of the materials to their outside surfaces. Waste volume may be significantly reduced by using the microwave, which is also good for the environment. However, because microwaving can often only be done on a small scale, it is frequently more expensive than larger scale alternatives like burning. Last but not least, for the conclusion, due to the potential of substantial harm to human health and the environment, clinical waste management has been a major source of concern. The current methods for processing, transporting, storing, and disposing of hospital waste must be modified and improved. The efficient processing and disposal of clinical waste generated by hospitals and other healthcare organizations and institutions is crucial. This will avoid any unwanted infection as well as negative health and environmental consequences, since clinical waste may contain infectious and contaminated human tissues, blood, body fluids, incretin, drugs, needles, and other connected materials. Aside from that, the hospital should provide sufficient continuous training programs for both clinical and non-clinical personnel, and partners should be urged to wear personal protective equipment. Efforts should be taken to reduce waste at the source. However, a continuous proper management is clinical waste in the hospital cannot be practiced, as there are some deficiencies and weaknesses in the management. From the findings, the problems confronting the hospitals include lack of instructions on the aspect of clinical waste segregations and practices by nurses and intermingling of clinical waste with general waste. That's all from us. Thank you.